Happy holidays, everyone. Bobo Mac here for Crisis in the Toyverse. As we approach the holidays, I figured might as well set up the Christmas tree with some lights. And let's talk some Mezco 112 Invincible Iron Man. This figure obviously is the standard released as opposed to the Mark 42 that we saw released this summer. It's got a different paint coat on it, but pretty much everything else with it works just about the same. And I'll go into that more in the comparisons and whatnot. But let's talk about this nice cherry yellow gold finish on this figure. I think it actually works a little bit better than the Mark 42. I mean, the Mark 42 had that sleek, sexy look. This has that hot rod Americana look going to it. And the design of the figure really, for me, it brings up images of 60s and 70s Iron Man, but of course Mezco adding their own little twist with intricate details throughout the armor just to make it pop just a little bit more and give their own spin on such an iconic Marvel character. Like I said, the red here really flows. It has a nice silver texture to it. There is no cloth on this figure, but there are pieces throughout that have the die cast metal, and that's very cool. As for the helmet, it has that nice classic look to it, but somewhat of a modern look as well. It definitely works with this body mold. The armor came out quite snazzy, and then even when you get down to the boots here, those all look fantastic as well. And then here's the back of the figure, and back there you have the battery compartment. You just take a small screwdriver and you get the batteries are included to light him up. And speaking of light up features, I'll break it down a lot more in accessories, but look at the glow on that thing as it shines. I like the blue shining through better than the red, only because I think it's brighter, but it's definitely cool that Mezco included that and found a way to still incorporate articulation into a figure. A lot of toy companies end up just messing up that portion of it. So you get a cool light up feature, but then you lose articulation. So for those articulation junkies out there, this is what you got going on. The headpiece is on a magnet. You can attach it to the top like that. And then we got the Tony Stark head. It looks okay. It's not the best Tony Stark looking, but I definitely think it works with what Mezco delivers in terms of their characters, so nothing to really get mad or angry about too much. It would have been nice to have an alternate on-mass head so you could have the helmet sitting next to him while he's working on stuff, but definitely not a deal breaker. So before I go any further, let's go ahead and break down articulation on this guy and go from there. So, in terms of Tony Stark's head, the head itself can go side to side. It can spin all the way around. You just don't want that faceplate to pop off. And it can look down that much, and it can look up that much on its own. With the neck piece down here, you also get a full round of articulation. And then it can go up that much further. And then it can go down a lot more too. And his head will tuck into his neck like so. In terms of the arms do go out that much. They do go in. They spin all the way around. There are no cloth goods on this guy. All you do have is the die-cast pieces throughout. You do have bicep cut like so. We also have a double bend at the elbow. The gauntlet does get in the way of that, but it works for a guy in a suit, I think. Rotation at the gauntlet. And then you have rotation at the hand, because the ball peg has the peg in it. You can shift the hand up or down, or if you rotate things, you can get it to go side to side as well. So there is that. In terms of the upper body, it is on a diaphragm joint. It can go back that much, it can go down that much, and then you do get the side to side, and you can sort of rotate it in and out. So you have the waist area that does go back a little bit more, so you extend the head out, you can almost get him flying, which is pretty good considering he can fly. You can bring the ab crunch down that much and have him looking down, and then you get a little side to side with that waist, and then that's pretty much it. It can sort of twist, but not too much. Now, in terms of Tony's legs, they are on those ball pegs, and that's where you get your thigh cut. As you can see, I'm moving it in and out. But they do drop down a little bit, so when you have it drop down, you can extend the legs out that far forwards, and then they will go back ever so slightly. Pushed in, it does limit it a lot more because that does get caught up on it. But as far as doing the splits, he can almost do the splits. So that's always a cool thing for those who like Iron Man doing the splits. It does have a double bend at the knee that works well. And then we have the boot cut that goes all the way around. And then we have the foot here that goes up only that much. And then it goes back that far. And then it does rock ever so slightly. We have the blaster effect port slash peg holes at the bottom so you can get them to stand. So overall, not a bad set of articulation on the guy. For action figure articulation junkies, it may be a little less than what they were expecting, but for your average collector, you may be more than satisfied with what you got. So let's go ahead and break down all the fun toys that this Iron Man comes with and go from there. Okay, kicking it right out of the bag, we have 2 additional sets of hands. The first set are the repulsor hands, and if the camera will work, as you can see, there's a hole in there so you can plug in the blaster effect like so with no issues whatsoever. Now we do have another set that's like a set of gripping hands. I do wish these could plug in these as well, but it's definitely not the end of the world. Now bringing it back to the arc reactor, this is where one of the cool accessories comes in. You can pop this out like so. As you can see, the light really shines bright. But we have this chest beam effect, if the camera will work. And it's done just like the other one, just this one's in blue. And all you want to do, if I can line this up right on camera, is just plug it in, set it, and forget it. And if I turn off the lights here, you can see it actually shines pretty dang good. It looks really cool on his chest. I definitely dig it a lot. And then moving on from there, we have a set of these waist rockets that attach to Tony's belt. They look really nice. I'm unfamiliar with these in the comics, but I don't know if this is a Mezco twist or if they actually happen. But they look really cool, and all you need to do for those is on pop like so the discs that are in place, and then you line up the pegs accordingly. Let's see if I got this one on the right one. And voila, we have rocket action for Mr. Stark. Very, very cool. And then going from there, we have the booster effects that can peg onto his feet or hands. As you can see, you got the hole right there, and then you can just plug in these nice blue ones like so, any way you want. They look really good. They're not any different from the red, just different color, and these can fit both in his hand or down on his feet, and you can mix and match the colors too if you choose, if you have the Mark 42 version. And then to wrap up this part of the review, we got the 2 blaster effects, which you've already seen. Mine's a little warped on one of them, but they're pretty cool. We saw them with the Mark 42 release. Then, of course, we have our Mezco flight stand, and then we have our all-American arc reactor base, and this has a lot of nice detail on it, and this came out pretty cool. We also have our Mezco 112 goodie bag. It's real quick so you guys can see inside the Mark, not the Mark 42, but the classic Iron Man. You have a sticker inside of the faceplate. And yeah, that pretty much wraps up accessories. Let's do a quick size roundup real quick, and we'll wrap this video up. Well, here is the size comparison for you. Of course, we have Mark 42 on the left and the SDCC 16 Mezco 112 Captain America, and of course our regular Iron Man in the middle. All 3 of these look great with one another, and I really do enjoy this figure a lot. Will you enjoy this figure? I hope so. I hope this review helps you in making that decision. But if you had to go with just one version, if you missed out on the Mark 42, there's nothing wrong with the classic red look. I think it actually works quite well. But guys, I think that's going to wrap up everything for today's review. I hope at the end of this it does help somebody out, and I do appreciate you stopping by, seeing what's going on with this channel. All of us here at Undercover Capes are trying to provide lots of different content, so if you see my stuff and then you see something else pop up, it's all part of the same network. But seriously, thank you for taking time out of your day to come here. With that being said, though, guys, I got links in the description below. Go check those out now. They're flashing on the screen. I got a slideshow at the end. Take care. Happy holidays, everyone. And until next time, great googly moogly.